Now, Alex and I are going to take a look at this week in sports. Alex, we're going to kick it off with some Baker basketball. You've covered the team with play-by-play. Tell me a little bit about how the season's going.
Well, on the women's side, they're doing a great job right now. They have 10 conference wins, sitting about 4th in the HAC, so they're looking pretty good going into postseason. Definitely got that locked up. They had an impressive victory over Lindenwood University on Saturday, 62-56. A couple double-doubles for the ladies down low. Allie Heinen had 13 points, 12 rebounds. Aubrey Gustin, 16 points and 10 rebounds. And then also Lauren Schuffelberger chipped in with 11 points. So it was good to see some production from those three. And then they went on and played Benedictine. And that was a game last night, Monday night. Benedictine, a very good team, now 15-0 in conference play, 23-3 overall. Nobody's really touched them to this point in the season. Allie Heinen, another big game, 21 points, 14 for Lauren Schuffelberger, but they just couldn't really get that third option going, and that's why they faltered in that one. But still 10 strong victories. Benedictine, obviously a good team, so Coach Decker's crew not feeling too bad about that. On the men's side, they've been shooting over 50% the last couple of games. They got a 2-game winning streak after losing 9 in a row. So they're still at the bottom of the conference. But, you know, if they win the next couple games, they got, I believe, 3 more games left, the last one being an away game in Evangel, so that'll be difficult. But if they win the next couple games, they could possibly slide in there in the 8th spot and go into the conference tournament playing their best basketball of the season. Aaron Torrance been on a tear. He had 24 points against Lindenwood, a game that we won by 3, 83-80. Andy Hannon had 14 big points in the first half, coming back from that back injury. He finished with 17, so good production there. The team shot 52%. And then in Benedictine Monday night, same story, 77-73, Baker University, another strong win. This one coming on the road, 13 points for Heath Baird, 14 for Aaron Torn. Taylor Parker, 9 points, no turnovers for the second straight game. Really big production from the point guard area. And then Ryan Highfield, he had 9 points. He had a couple threes against Lindenwood. He had 3 big ones in this game against Benedictine, and that's a big reason why that production off the bench, why the Wildcats may be able to go on a little bit of a spurt here.
Absolutely. You spoke about turnovers. I know in earlier talkings with Coach Weaver, he said taking care of basketball is the #1 thing. So for Taylor Parker not to turn the ball over, that's huge.
Most definitely.
We're going to move on now to some Big 12 basketball. Talk about your Kansas Jayhawks coming off a tough loss against Texas on Big Monday on the road.
Yep.
That puts it into a 3-way tie for first place in the Big 12 with 3 teams at 7-2. The Staters from Manhattan, kind of a bit of a surprise, and then Texas and the Jayhawks. What are your feelings on how the Big 12 is shaping up?
Well, you know, K-State not really too much of a surprise to me. Michael Beasley is a man amongst boys. He's basically the Wildcats' version of Carmelo Anthony a few years ago for Syracuse when they won the whole thing. I mean, he's just a guy that's obviously the #1 pick in the draft. Outstanding player, lefty, can stroke it, can also play down low. So that victory they had in Manhattan against KU, not too much of a surprise. It'd be a surprise if they pull it off again. That game coming up pretty soon at Allen Fieldhouse. But as far as the Jayhawks, they did lose to the Longhorns. Unfortunately, maybe fortunately now that they lost, I was doing the Benedictine games for Baker, so I didn't actually get to see it until the last minute, which was kind of painful. But, you know, that's going to happen. It's Big 12 basketball. Anybody can beat anybody at any time as long as you don't lose to Nebraska or Iowa State. You're basically, you know, nothing too crazy going on there. So 3-way tie, the end of the year should be pretty exciting, leading right into March Madness. I can't believe it's already here.
Absolutely, and you spoke about the Texas loss. The thing that I find striking about that is it's February. Frankly, it doesn't really matter because the Jayhawks are putting themselves in a great position to get to the national tournament, get a great seed in the national tournament. So February doesn't really matter, and that's one of the criticisms about college basketball. At least with college football, you know that every game really, really counts. Going back to the Staters, you said that it wasn't really a surprise that they got them in Manhattan at Bramlage. Let's talk about that game March 1st against the Jayhawks at Allen Fieldhouse. What are your predictions for that game?
Well, we're going to see the kind of pride that KU has in that ball game. Obviously, they do not want to lose to K-State 2 times in 1 year. That's just something that's a little unheard of. And so I plan on them going in there and doing a better job. You know, Beasley, he's going to hurt you. He's going to score 20, 25. It's going to be that second, third option. Bill Walker's going to get his, but they can't let a guy like Stewart or any other guard really light him up like they did in Manhattan. And so that's really going to be the key. Also, for the Jayhawks, they're going to have to get production from everybody out there. Chalmers going to have to play well because he can take over games. Arthur down low, because I think we really have an advantage in the post play. So if we can keep rotating Jackson, Kahn, Darrell Arthur, get them all in there, get some production, I think that's where we have the edge.
I think you're absolutely right. I think it's definitely going to come down to the supporting cast. I remember a little guy named Kevin Durant came into Allen Fieldhouse last year, put up a huge game, but the Jayhawks still won because he wasn't able to get the supporting cast done.
Some guys are just that good.
What are you going to do? Moving on, last topic, we want to talk about the Pro Bowl. In my opinion, the most meaningless game in sports. No, you didn't get to watch it because you were covering the game. NFC prevailed. Any surprises?
The only real surprise was that they actually looked like they're wanting to win there at the end of the game, playing hard. The NFC had to come back in that one. Guys were high-fiving. Even Jeff Garcia and T.O. were, playing nice. So that was good to see. The Pro Bowl, it is the weakest of the three major sports. They're all-star games. But, I like to see that they've put some money on the line, throw a truck out to Adrian Peterson. That's good to see. I would like for this to be a meaningful game and something that I'd want to watch, but honestly, I wasn't even sure if the Pro Bowl was on Sunday until I watched SportsCenter that night. So that's about how much I care about it.
We're going to take a quick commercial break, but we'll be back with the Baker Staff Spotlight after this.
Hello and welcome back to Orangeline.
Now we have another Baker Staff Spotlight segment. We're going to talk to Steve Rottinghaus, the PR director here at Baker.
Thanks. For this week's installment of the Baker Staff Spotlight, I spoke with Baker's Public Relations Director, Steve Rottinghaus. When Steve's not hard at work in public relations, you might be able to find him and join a few of his hobbies, such as baseball.
So I've always been into sports, played Little League baseball. Once my playing days were over, slow pitch softball.
Could you catch it?
Oh yeah, I can catch it.
Could that be... Not me. You don't think it work? Okay.
Yeah, I can catch it. Anyway, I played on a softball team in Lawrence with some former coworkers of mine. We've been playing now, I think, 15 years. And I pitched for the team. We're always up for a good tournament. I like to play in the Sunflower State games every year. Try to take a small road trip to a small town and play. And we do all right. It's still fun. Tennis is another one that I played with a buddy in Lawrence, and I play occasionally here in the Baldwin courts. There's a group of professors and community members, and I think it's called the Baldwin Tennis League, but it's very laid back. And a lot of times I play with Bruce Anderson, the assistant tennis coach, and we played singles. I think sometimes he's a little nice to me and lets me play a lot closer to him than I really should be, but we play doubles. We're a doubles team often, and then we play against each other, and that's been fun. Another hobby of mine, board games. Scrabble is one of my favorites. I also play a new one that I've been playing with the family, Yahtzee, Gestures. My daughter likes the Toy Story Monopoly. She's starting to outgrow that, so kind of a poor man's Monopoly, but that's fun. And my oldest started in 4th grade, and she's starting to really get into the spelling. So it's always fun to take on 10-year-olds in Scrabble.
Well, Steve, you're quite an interesting guy. Thanks for sharing about yourself with us. And if you guys don't mind, we're going to get to a game of Scrabble. So, let's see here.
Is it your turn?
Checkmate.
You've actually got to connect the words here.
Thanks again, Cyrus.
Now we're going to move to a little fun segment here at the end of every show. It's called the Question of the Week. And this week's question is...
What's your favorite pickup line?
I know what mine is.
My favorite pickup line would be, "Girl, you look like you eat a lot of Campbell's soup because you look good."
Okay, well, when I go up and I meet a girl, first thing I like to say is, "Oh, hi."
Did it hurt? And then she would say, "Did what hurt? When you fell from heaven?"
I guess I'd have to say the best pickup line I've ever heard is, "Hey, do you want to make out?" Because it was just right to the point. And sometimes you have to give people credit for just stating the obvious. So,
if I could rearrange the alphabet, I'd put you and me together.
You and I. Oh, yeah, that's right.
Oh, dang it, you and I.
Well, that's it for Orangeline. Tricia, what do we have going on next week?
Well, next week I'm going to be visiting the language tables in the cafeteria. How about you?
Well, I think I'm going to take a look at the upcoming cheerleader competition.
Thanks. I'm Tricia Shelton.
And I'm Chris Campbell for KNBU TV.
Thanks for joining us.